I'm Jennifer Stevens. I'm a journalist and a mum of two. Last summer, a couple of high-profile women in Ireland spoke up about having miscarriages and their experience of pregnancy loss. And my colleagues and I in the Irish Examiner thought that it was time that something bigger was done about it. It's very rarely spoken about. And I know personally, when you go through it, you're online at all hours of the day and night, searching for information and really looking for stories that are like your own. You want to know other people have experienced what you've experienced, and it's very hard to find them. We asked in the Irish Examiner if anybody would like to come forward and share their stories, and we were completely overwhelmed when more than 80 women wrote in with their experience of pregnancy loss and miscarriage. It was an incredible privilege to hold space for those stories, and to read them and to reach out and speak directly to the women. And we decided that there should be a permanent place on the website where they would live, so that anyone going through that in the future would be able to find a story that was like their own. All the stories were so similar. It didn't matter if it had just happened or if it had happened 10 years ago. It was raw and emotional and sad, and everybody remembers the babies that didn't make it, that they lost. In October then, I spoke to some of the women again to see how they had felt afterwards, after sharing their stories, and it was so wonderfully positive. They were so happy to have done it. And people in their lives who didn't know what they had gone through now knew what they had gone through. Friends were sharing their own experiences with them when they hadn't before. And they were really happy to know that the stories were there for women in the future to go back and find, because it's very lonely. It's more than anything else, it's really lonely when you're going through it. And knowing that other women have experienced what you have is incredibly helpful. In the last 2 years, I've written about miscarriage quite a lot, having never really mentioned it publicly before. And I think it's a privilege to be able to do that, whether it's sharing my story or speaking to other women that have been through it, and giving a voice to all of the women who are at home in pain, devastated by loss, terrified about what's going to happen, having been sent home from a hospital and not knowing what's coming next. The more that we talk about miscarriage, the more we make it open and normal, the more people won't be frightened anymore, and they'll know what it's like. They'll be able to give a voice to their fears and be an advocate for their own care. It might sound really strange to say that the Rotunda is a good place to have a miscarriage, but it is. Having spoken to so many women around the country who've gone through it, I know that the standard of care isn't the same everywhere. I was very lucky with who I spoke with, who looked after me, who helped me in the Rotunda. But still, there's always more that can be done. I would like to see the miscarriage clinic move away from the general clinics, so that you don't have to watch women who are really happy when you're really sad. I would like there to be more information that you can go home with, because you're in shock when you're told something has gone wrong and you don't always remember what you're told. I would like there to be more information online so people can find it in their own time, because you're not always ready to hear what people want you to hear. Sometimes it takes a few weeks or, a little bit of time until you can process what's going on. I would like people And they are really kind here in the Rotunda. Well, I would just like people to know that you're frightened and you're scared and you're devastated, and to understand that you're hurting. I know that not everybody has recurrent miscarriage, but one miscarriage is enough to make a difference in how you feel about every pregnancy. And I learned that you have to be an advocate for yourself and speak up. You have to trust all of the midwives and the doctors and the consultants that you see, because all they want is a happy ending for you. And I learned that it's okay to cling on to hope and to keep trying.